Hello everyone, I'm Digital Mouse. In this video, I'm going to take a look at the Gamesir X2s controller and compare it to the BackBone controller. Okay, let's get the price out of the way right up front. The Gamesir X2s is priced around $45 depending upon when and where you buy it. The BackBone controller I'm using is the BackBone 1 PlayStation Edition. This is going to set you back about $100. I tell you this first because the price of these controllers lays the foundation and provides the context for everything we're going to talk about today. First, let me just say that there isn't anything wrong with the build quality of the Gamesir X2s. Remember, this is a $45 controller. It really is a bargain for what it is you get. It has a nostalgic retro look inspired by the Nintendo 2DS. Its buttons work just fine. They were the standard plastic with the letters A, B, X, Y etched into the top of the buttons. And the D-pad was the same with the arrows etched into the plastic. The Gamesir logo is nicely printed on the phone holder and on the back. I definitely like the rubber grips on the back, which the BackBone does not have. And I also like the rubber on the phone grips. The BackBone one just looked more refined and premium than the Gamesir. For instance, the transparent buttons with the XO square and triangle printed within the buttons. Or the D-pad with the arrows underneath the transparent plastic layer. And the PlayStation logo, which reveals itself once you expand the controller. And I'm not sure the type of plastic that was used to make each of the controllers, but the one on the BackBone just seemed more expensive. Of course, if you're going to charge $100 for a controller, then your stuff better be at least aesthetically pleasing. But those design aesthetics did the job. I felt good about my BackBone purchase, even though it was way more expensive than the Gamesir. The Gamesir X2s comes with Hall effect joysticks with non-contact magnetic sensors, so you won't have to worry about stick drift as the controller gets older. Gamesir says you can get up to 5 million cycles. The joysticks come with rounded tops, but Gamesir includes a concave top cover. I prefer the concave covers. I feel like they give me better control of the joysticks. It also has Hall effect triggers. Gamesir says it has an accuracy of up to 0.1 millimeters, which gives you precise control for racing games. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel. On the bottom left, there is a button featuring a square and a circle. You can use this to take a quick screenshot. On the bottom right, there is a home button. We'll talk more about this button when we get to the Gamesir software. There's some very important information you need to know about this. I searched BackBone's website to determine what type of joysticks were on the BackBone 1, and if they were Hall effects. I didn't find anything from BackBone that said that they were, so I'm assuming they are just standard joysticks. I did check the iFixit website for a teardown of the previous Lightning version of the BackBone 1, and they state the triggers had Hall effect sensors. The USB-C connection on the Gamesir is on the left side of the controller. With most non-foldable phones, this is an unimportant issue, because your phone will rotate to the correct landscape orientation regardless of how you use it. However, this becomes very important with a foldable like the Samsung Z Fold. With the USB-C connection point on the left side, you'll be able to connect the Gamesir X2s to a Samsung foldable, and the majority of the screen will be above the controller, which to me is a more natural way of using the controller. Although it does make it a little bit top-heavy, you'll only feel it if you have to angle your phone down while you're playing for some reason. With the BackBone controller, the USB-C port is on the right side of the controller. Therefore, when you connect the Samsung Foldable, the majority of the screen will be towards the bottom of the controller. This didn't affect my gameplay at all. It just seemed kind of awkward and unnatural to hold it this way, although it did distribute the weight more towards the bottom of the controller and into the palm of my hands. I hate having to take my phone out of a case in order to connect it to a controller. I tried connecting the Gamesir X2s and BackBone 1 to phones with cases. With the Samsung Z Fold, I used a generic slim case. With the iPhone 15 Pro, I used this case by Taurus. And with the Google Pixel 6, I used a case by Spigen. The BackBone controller comes with plastic inserts that can be removed. You will want the smaller inserts if you want to run your phone with a case. The inserts are held in place with strong magnets. Here's the install of the Samsung Z Fold 4 with the generic slim case. The smaller inserts wrap nicely around the Fold 4 with the case on. Next is the iPhone 15 Pro Max with the Taurus case. Again, the smaller inserts wrapped around the phone with the case nicely. And finally, the install on the Google Pixel 6. Here, the inserts fit around the lower portion of the phone nearest to the USB-C port, but it didn't get fully around the top portion nearest to the camera bump, although I was still able to play with it and it felt secure. The Gamesir X2s has rubber serrated interior grips which clamp onto the phone. The left clamp next to the USB-C port is slightly smaller than the one on the right. I think this allows for a better connection between the USB-C connector on the controller and the port on the phone. Here's the Samsung Fold 4 install. Here's the install of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. and the Google Pixel 6. The rubber grip on the Gamesir was flat and didn't wrap around the phone like the BackBone controller. However, I never felt as though the phone wasn't secure within the controller and was going to fall out of it. I mean, really, you'll have your hands around each of the controllers and phones, so the likelihood of the phones falling out is pretty slim. Neither one of the controllers will add much weight to your mobile gaming setup. The Gamesir X2s weighed 173 grams on my scale, and the BackBone one came in at 146 grams. There really isn't much of a difference in size between the two controllers. The BackBone controller is a little bit taller than the Gamesir, and they're about the same width when you take into account the BackBone's detachable inserts. I had a slightly easier time starting gameplay with the BackBone. I connected the Samsung Galaxy Fold and started up Call of Duty. I received a pop-up stating that it didn't recognize the controller I was using, and it gave me the options of several controllers. The first one was the BackBone. I selected the BackBone and started Call of Duty Mobile. I didn't have to install the BackBone app. I was able to just start playing out of the box. Here's some other games I was able to play with the BackBone out of the box and without downloading the app. It didn't work for every game. I wasn't able to play Honkai Star Rail with the BackBone controller. The Gamesir X2s was a little different. When I opened up Call of Duty, I didn't get the same controller pop-up like I did with the BackBone. Call of Duty didn't recognize the Gamesir, and I wasn't able to use the Gamesir to play right away. Again, this is just out of the box and without downloading the Gamesir app. As far as the other games are concerned, I was able to play all the same games with my Gamesir that I was able to play with my BackBone controller. The Gamesir app is very clean and minimal. It's nicely laid out with horizontal columns. You'll find the customary ads at the top, but when you scroll down it'll go to Featured, New Releases, AAA Games, Trending Games, Mapping Games, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and Trending on Stadia. You can see the Gamesir app really needs to be updated considering Stadia no longer exists. Speaking of updates, remember when I talked about that home button earlier on in the video? Well, it didn't do anything. No, I mean like literally, it didn't do anything. Even after I installed the Gamesir app, it didn't launch Gamesir, and when I was in the app, it wouldn't take me to the app's home screen. So I'm not sure what it's for, but Gamesir, if you are listening, this is a really good device. Please, update your app, and maybe you can get better than the 2-star rating average on Google Play. I digress. There's a side menu on the Gamesir app, but the only way I could get to it is by turning the Galaxy Fold counterclockwise, then turning it clockwise again. Here you will find categories of games like action, RPG, puzzles, racing, sports, and fighting. Next down you will get to devices. You should see Gamesir X2s at the top of the screen. Then a list of all of your games. At the bottom of the screen you'll see tabs for firmware update, gamepad test, and key settings. Under gamepad test you'll be able to check the functions of your buttons and joysticks. Under key settings, you'll be able to change the ABXY button settings from Xbox layout to Switch layout. You can customize joystick settings, swap left stick and D-pad, and change D-pad diagonal settings. Under triggers, you can change their sensitivity or enable or disable left or right hair triggers. Next down is Help. Here you can get information regarding calibrating the joysticks or how to use button combinations. When you start a game from the Gamesir app, a pop-up screen will appear, giving you the option to launch in G-Touch mode. This will allow you to use the controller to play games like Call of Duty Mobile, and you'll see the G-Touch controls on the screen. However, it's not perfect and will not work with every game. For example, for the most part, I was able to use the Gamesir X2s to play the older Call of Duty Mobile without touching the screen, but it didn't work well for the newer Call of Duty Warzone. To me, the BackBone app was more refined than the Gamesir app. The BackBone button on the controller will actually launch the app. We will get back to this message in a minute. The BackBone app was well organized and beautifully designed. They even made it so the background wallpaper changes as you scroll through games and apps within the top row. The menu is organized into horizontal columns, which you can use the controller to scroll vertically to search through. There are different categories like What's New, Ways to Play, which includes apps like PS Remote Play, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and Steam Link. PlayStation exclusives. There's also categories of games like free-to-play, action and adventure, fighting, indies, and strategy. You'll find the menu option in the top left corner or the bottom right. Select Menu to get to your system settings and where you can find friends or start a party. Select the cog icon to get into Settings. Under Account, you can find your user information, including subscription info and notifications. Under the Controller tab, you can find information regarding your controller. Now, here is where you'll also find that you have to subscribe to the BackBone app in order to unlock features like Play on Any Screen or Touch Sync. However, BackBone will allow you to calibrate and test your controller without subscribing. Under the Preferences tab, you can enable haptic feedback, autoplay videos on the home screen, or toggle on or off app interaction sounds. Overall, I found the BackBone app functioned and looked great. However, the subscription requirement may be a deterrent for some. You don't have to subscribe to the BackBone app in order to use the controller. I was able to use the BackBone one in order to play the new Call of Duty Warzone without a subscription. In case you were wondering, the BackBone app had an average 4.7 star rating despite the subscription requirement, although it also had some detractors. Okay, so who should buy each of these controllers? Look, if price is your main concern, then just buy the Gamesir X2s. Despite some shortcomings with the app, it's still a great controller for the price. And it's great with foldable phones. If you're willing to pay more and want something that is more ready to play out of the box, then the BackBone one is probably better for you. Either way, you're the winner. If you like this video, then you'll definitely like these videos on the screen.
Let me set the record straight for a minute. Hate, I get it. Say it with 'em. I don't give a I'm cool with